To the Devy debates. All right, boys, are we ready to debate? Austin, you tweeted something, girl. You tweeted your running back rankings. Explain yourself.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast. You jumped up and...
That's Austin Nace.
Who is going to be that guy? And for me, Bijan Robinson is still going to be that guy.
Back to the ground with Robinson, who spins and then tries to bounce it. A stiff arm, another one as he rides it, keeps his balance. They're going to say he stepped out, but
I'm Felix Sharp. I know you didn't think that we would get through this episode without mentioning the name one Zach F. Wilson.
Screener draw. Oh, Wilson is going to uncork for the end zone, and he drops it in beautifully. And it is his roommate, Dax Milne, on the touchdown.
That's Matt Bruning.
G. Scott Jr. Obviously, I waxed poetic about him on the last episode, so I won't do that again here.
And this time it's Fields on the carry. Watch out. Justin Fields. Hello, Columbus, 51 yards.
Bruning, are you ready to go head-to-head with me?
I am.
Got to get my popcorn out here. Hold on.
Got to continue. I got it. Kyle McCord is going to end up winning the job. He's going to be rated higher.
Well, I'm not nearly as passionate about what I'm about to talk about.
Our apologies for Herbstreit. We ran out of time. We'll get him rescheduled soon. And for Matt Bruning and Austin Nace, I'm Felix Sharp. Good night and good luck. It's 9:30 Eastern time, the only time zone with its practice tape. That means it's time for the Devy Debate, brought to you by CampusToCan.com. Chris Moxley is in, Matt Bruning is out, Austin Nace is here, and I'm Felix Sharp. On a rocky version of tonight's show, we play NFL Draft Trivia, and was Matt Bruning right on Gavin Sawchuk, and is it over for Alabama? We'll see if we get to those last 2 points, but we start with Colorado. 40-plus players have entered the transfer portal since Deion Sanders came, I think including 18 on Monday. That includes Michigan transfer defensive lineman Taylor Upshaw, who just transferred there in January. Chris Moxley, give me one word and then elaborate on that one word to describe what's going on in Colorado.
Content. It's content is what it is. Coach Prime has a video crew that follows him around. They documented his first, what would you call it, press conference meeting with the team, where he said, hey, infamous quote now, I'm bringing Louis, which, you know, you see now 52 players have entered the transfer portal in this cycle. No other program has lost more than 29. So he's bringing his Louis, other teams. I think content is the answer. Video crew's following him around. He has a show, or at least documentary, that's going to be on Amazon Prime. I don't know when it's airing, but he's filming all this stuff for that documentary. I think a lot of what he's doing and a lot of the upselling and the persona and the stage and all of this is content. We know this is who Coach Prime is. It's Prime. like that's who he is. It's content.
I think it's a little haphazard is the word I would use. I don't think at all times they necessarily know exactly what the plan is at Colorado right now. And they might figure it out. It's early. I mean, he's only been there a few months. I think a lot of the transfer portal activity so far has backed it up. Michigan D lineman is not the only player that they transferred in and then transferred out. They've actually had, to my knowledge, 3 different players do that. A former 4-star offensive lineman from Florida, and then a DB that came with him from Jackson State. Those are the other ones I saw, and there may be more. There seems to be this thought that just because Colorado was so bad last year, that anybody that they'd possibly cut at this point and replace is automatically an upgrade. And I'm not really sure where that thought has come from. You're scraping the real bottom of the portal here with the last week of it being open before all the kids head home for the summer. So I don't know that they have an excellent plan right now. I'm not saying that it's not working or it's not going to work, but I don't know that they've fully thought all these things out. It doesn't seem like recruiting's going great for next year yet. Really, they're not. It doesn't seem like they're getting a bunch of these big name guys that people kind of thought they would. So I'm interested to see where this is headed, but I think right now it's not the most well thought out thing. And you're muted, Felix. I knew you were going to do that.
I think my word would be circus for a lot of the reasons that you've described, Austin. I don't know that it's necessarily planned out. And the reason being, if you have kids that transfer in January and now are transferring out, then where's the Louis luggage that you talked about? Supposedly it's the players that you are bringing in. I think at one point the over-under on wins for the season was around 4.5.
It was at 6 when it opened, by the way.
It was at 6.
6.
I don't see how they can get to 6. I don't really see how they can get to 4, to be honest with you. Circus is the word that I would use. And I think, listen, he is going to make an impact there. They're going to be better than they were. But he has to be careful that spot is still attractive to top-tier recruits who want some stability and want something that seems organized. I don't know that you can recruit every kid to that program, even if they are elite talents. And I think that he still wants to be able to get that type of player. But to be, essentially a sideshow, we'll see how this works out. I mean, as Chris mentioned, they're shooting this documentary, and that's obviously going to be very entertaining, especially if they cover some of these cuts of him telling kids that you got to go, you're not getting your practice tape, you're not going to fit here. But I do question this free agency because we are, digging at the bottom of the barrel with these college players. We've never seen a team built like this. And we're going to see. I'll tell you what, I'm definitely taking the under on 6. I'm probably taking the under on 4.5.
I saw it was 3.5 at one book today.
3.5.
that is 3 or 4 wins a failure year one. It's got to be, right?
It's a 300% increase from last year.
I think it's only a failure if they recruit comparably to how they did this year. And it's you can't judge him on whatever recruiting class they brought in this year in terms of high school kids because it's the end of the cycle. Like, you get what you get at that point.
But you can judge him on the current roster.
But and I think you're really going to judge him
if
recruiting does not pick up and they don't land. If you think about the big names that Deion has actually ever really landed in his coaching career, it's short so far. His own son, and then Travis Hunter, who is like, one of the best DB recruits out of high school in the past decade at least. So it kind of makes sense for that marriage with him coaching there. But other than that, like he's gone after some bigger names and really swung and missed on all of them. Kevin Coleman he got, but he didn't follow him to Colorado. Didn't seem that interested in going there at all. So I just don't know. Like, I know we've had this discussion before, how attractive is Deion, like the person to recruits? And he played so long ago that I don't know that he necessarily resonates with some of these kids. Like, I just don't know. And I don't know if Colorado is a sexy enough place that he can overcome, like these two things can be overcome. So it's just a very odd combination of everything going on here right now.
The one thing I will say is that over the last 10, 15 years, Colorado's administration has not supported the football team. They've not invested money in. They've been really picky on like who can come into the program transfer wise. The administration has essentially like treated the program like crap. A lot of that was pulled back when Deion came over. And so I wonder if you're going to see a product that is, if it's like 1-11 Colorado and then 90s Colorado, if it's somewhere closer to the like on a scale of 1 to 10, a 6 versus what we've seen the last couple of years. Because actually I think they're getting a little bit of free reign. So I wonder if this school is more attractive than it was. But I don't think that you can sell the last week at Colorado as a success. I think it's ultimately a failure because
they couldn't play a game. They couldn't play a game right now if they had to.
No, what Austin said earlier, right? You lost a lot of players who like weren't good or were part of that bad team. You also lost a lot of players who are good. Like, I do not want that to go like unreported under the radar. They lost legit contributors who would have been legit contributors this year.
Jordan Tyson was one of the best. Jordan Tyson was
Absolutely.
one of the best freshman wide receivers in the country last year.
Lamonius Craig has offers from everyone too. Like, he's got a bunch of high-end Power 5 offers. I didn't think he was that good, but still, like, I don't know. I think he's really turned off a lot of the old guard players who were productive, but were on that last year's team.
Well, Shedeur Sanders thought that he was good because Shedeur Sanders seemed to be pissed that he was leaving. This is just going to be I have to believe that this is a boom bust type thing. Either Deion is going to be, a 9 or 10 win head coach, or in 3 years he's not going to be there. I don't think they're going to be a team that goes 8-4, 7-5 for 4 or 5 consecutive years. I just don't see that working there. So
they couldn't afford his contract, right? Like, at the time he signed it, they couldn't afford to pay his contract. Like, they didn't have the money for the entirety of the deal. So you really wonder, like, would they get rid of him? Like, are they married to him for the next 5 years?
However, he may have already earned that $30 million contract. They've sold out season tickets for this year. They sold out the spring game. Enrollment will likely go up at Colorado because you see that with successful programs. Enrollment goes up. So he may have paid for his contract in year one. And even if they don't have success, I would think that ticket sales are still going to be up next year. Enrollment's still going to be up next year. I don't know why I'm always mocked and ridiculed to say that, like, the economic effect of these things is there. But when you have 45,000 people at a spring game, they all need Uber. They got to eat somewhere. They got to take hotels somewhere. I mean, that there is a measurable impact on Deion Sanders being there economically. So, all right, let's get Chris shrugs his shoulder. Chris is making fun of me about saying that Deion Sanders has an.
The only thing I'll say on that, it's a lot different when Nick Saban is bringing championships to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, versus what Deion Sanders is doing in Boulder, Colorado. There's just a big difference between the two.
Yes.
Not that it.
Yes.
I think the biggest win is for money directly coming into the institution of the University of Colorado. That is really the win, and I think your enrollment is dictating that. Ticket sales are dictating that, but like, I don't know that the city of Boulder is really going to see a massive benefit from it, but we'll see. A decade later, we'll see the census.
Well, we've seen a massive benefit from our supporters leaving rating reviews for us on the podcast feed. Kaz, who's in our Discord, he added so much content, 2 releases a day, typically great stuff. The guys really do the work. I won both sides of my C2C this year. Some of that is due to the depth of players I knew from the podcast. We appreciate it. We appreciate the support from you guys. Austin tells me that podcast numbers are up, so we are doing well. We are trying to make an impact in this CFF space and expand expand the availability of this content, expand our influence, and maybe one day we'll get to the point where you can play CFF on Sleeper, on ESPN, wherever you play fantasy football. That's the point that we're trying to get to. Let me plug that podcast feed. Daily Draft Report, Chasing the Natty CFF Angles, Here Devy Debate, Campus Life, Canton Bound, The Official, our recruiting show. And if you need to know the value of your 2024 supplemental picks, you got to get in and listen to The Official. Go ahead and listen to it on the podcast feed or watch it on YouTube. There's also The Collective, which is our NI-only tier podcast. We have do you guys want to tell us what's funny in the background? Are we going to let them know what's going on back here? Chris, Austin.
You didn't mention back to Devy, and I can see I can see a certain somebody in the background that's going to be on the show in a minute. And I'm
trying to go from memory, and I always forget.
You could tell he was heartbroken as you did.
You
that.
listed the funny thing is that you listed them all on the show sheet, and you just didn't read it.
Don't even listen to Back to Devy, to be honest with you. Don't even listen to the inferior.
See, Dwight, he doesn't hate
podcast.
you. This is just he just can't remember them all.
Is Back to Devy the worst Devy podcast on the feed?
Many are saying
It is.
this.
Many are saying that.
Many are saying this. Many are saying this. So we really appreciate the support. But I do want to plug the collective because that is the podcast only for our NIL level members. The second week, I think we talked about Matt meeting Patrick Mahomes. We've had Hannah. What's Hannah's last name? Page. Hannah Page to talk about her kind of upbringing in football and her influence there at Western Kentucky. And what is the most recent episode, Austin?
So we're releasing all of the discussion about how we're ranking and tiering our Devy, all the players that are going into the Devy guide. We have not previously really released that content, and that's where we're doing it this year. So we did running backs. Is like a 2-hour show if you want to just listen to our thoughts on all the running backs.
It's great as someone who has not been in those discussions. I've really enjoyed the process, like hearing through the process of how to evaluate players and how to tier players. That's the really interesting conversation.
A 2-hour show that went into, our preparation for the Devy Guide, which comes out May 1st, next Monday. You can pre-order that right now at campus2canton.com. If you need a link, there's one available on the Twitter page at Campus to Canton. All right, let's bring in Mike and Barnabas here. I guess we're going to be playing NFL Draft Jeopardy. Is that what we're doing here? I mean, we're a very professional organization. I have no idea what it is that we're doing. We bring in the co-host of one of the co-hosts of Back to Devy, Mike and Barnabas, one of our NFL draft guys, and the fact checker here at Devy Debate, even though we rarely use facts in our arguments. So, all right, who am I turning this over to? Am I turning it over to Mike? Am I turning it over to Barnabas? Who's taking the wheel here?
I will be taking the lead here because I just want to say how disrespectful it was for you to forget about Back to Devy. We're like the redheaded stepchild. We're like Cinderella, and you guys just shove us in the closet while we do so much work in the house. That's all.
That's right. That's right. Keep doing that work. That's right. So,
but we are not playing Jeopardy. We are playing trivia. It's just we didn't really have. It's just easier.
You told me
there's a difference. It's kind of a white person thing, but you'll catch on eventually, I think.
Yeah, we'll be playing Whose Pick Is It Anyway? The show where everything is projection and the points matter for bragging rights only.
That's right. Well, I think I did one of these last year. A lot of claims of cheating here, but there will be 5 categories. We're not going in any order, but I just thought I'd tell you the 5 categories here. It's busts, firsts, and then trades, draft history, and then a category I should just deleted. So, but anyway. We're just going to be going in order. We are going to be going in order from Austin, Chris, to Felix. Everyone's going to get a chance to answer the question. If Austin gets his question wrong, then I'll move on to Chris. Chris gets it wrong, we'll move on to Felix. But let's say Austin gets it right. That's fine. We'll go on right to Chris. And if Chris gets it wrong, but it's his turn, and then we go all the way back to Austin, we're still going to go in order of who's going to go. I'm doing a terrible job explaining this. I'm doing terrible.
Everyone will get the same number of opportunities to answer a question first.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay. Are we ready, gentlemen?
All right. We are ready. Play along in the chat if you know the answers. Play along with us.
All right, Austin. This first one here, Eli Manning was forced the San Diego Chargers into a deal on April 24, 2004. The first day of the 2004 NFL Draft, Manning refused to sign with the Chargers, and so after drafting him in the first overall, they promptly traded him away to the New York Giants for the rights to this player.
Is it Sean Merriman?
What? This is the easiest question ever.
Oh my God! I actually know the answer.
No, let's move on to Chris. Wow. That's sorry.
You've got to be kidding me.
Phillip Rivers.
That's correct.
I can't believe it took you that long.
Did he just like try to act like he didn't know? Does that just show?
No, I didn't know. I don't. 2004. I was 9 years old. What do you want me to do?
That's not where I thought the question was going as you were asking it.
Me neither. I had no idea where it was going. Okay. So that's 1 point. Very cool.
That is. And Chris, it is your turn to answer the question first here. So to Chris Moxley, What year did the AFL and NFL agree on a merger?
How old were you then, Chris? How old were you then?
Dude, I was probably like negative what? Let me think.
30. At least. 40.
How long do I have to respond to each question?
it is
In a
a range.
reasonable
Right.
time frame, please.
Yeah.
What is 1973?
That's incorrect. Felix,
Dude, I have no idea.
I'm not going to get it either. I think it's the 60s or the 70s. So, I mean, I'm not going to waste your time and say that I know it's 1776, like when the Declaration of Independence was signed. But it's
Same thing, essentially. Declaration of Independence and the AFL merger.
I don't know.
Just take a guess. Just take a stab.
1969.
That's
Very
incorrect.
close.
Yes,
Is
Austin.
it 67?
That's incorrect. It is. Let them know, Barnabas. Correct these guys because they don't know any facts.
So you guys were actually getting closer. The AFL and NFL agreed on a merger in 1966. So Austin, you were just 1 year off there.
See, I tried to do the back from the Super Bowl, but I'm not that good at mental math. So
we're gonna stick with NFL draft history here. Going over to Felix Sharp. How many quarterbacks have been drafted first overall?
Well, now I'm really upset that I missed that layup.
How did Austin miss the first question? How many quarterbacks have been drafted first overall? You've got to.
So let's do the math here, right? It's been what is that?
no helping the contestant.
Years.
The host.
57 drafts. Just 57 drafts. That's the max. 57.
You should give me a range, and if I get it in that range, I'm going to say
the range. I'm going to say 1 in 57.
29.
That's incorrect. Austin, over to
43.
Austin. That's incorrect. Chris.
19.
Oh, it's way.
Barnabas, want to educate our hosts?
Yeah, like I said, so this is the 57th draft, maybe. But we have had 26 quarterbacks go first overall. 26. Yeah,
I was closest. So jokes on y'all.
How did we go from Phillip Rivers to what year did the AFL and NFL merge? I mean,
because Mike is skipping categories here.
Is this supposed to be Stump the Schwab?
I'm a history major.
I'm feeling like the dude.
Start. All right, I'm going back to Austin. We'll go to more current time stuff here. Austin, since 2012, which Biletnikoff winner was drafted the latest and in which round?
Since 2012.
I think I know this one, actually. I know this one.
It's an Oklahoma kid. Dede Westbrook, right? And he went in the third round, fourth round.
That's incorrect. We have to move on to Chris.
It is Dede Westbrook, I'm pretty sure, and I think he went in the fourth round.
That is correct. Chris Moxley, everybody. Finally got some points out there. Let's go.
Actually, Chris is the only one with points right now. So
That's true.
Not a big deal.
I want half of that point.
I want to give. I think I'm going to give Felix a layup here. I don't want to hear any complaints.
Wait, is it not my
It's Chris first.
turn?
It's Chris. All right. Well, I already decided on the question. I'm so sorry.
You could give me a layup too, by the way.
I guess I am because I already had it in mind. Drafted first overall in 2007, 18 touchdowns, 38 turnovers, led to a quick exit out of the NFL for this QB.
Do I have to say who is, like Jeopardy?
No, you don't.
no.
Okay, Jamarcus Russell.
That's correct.
Oh, sorry, you did not put it in the form of a question.
I had
said
to
it wasn't
ask that.
Jeopardy.
To be fair, Austin, I did actually give you half a point for that Dede Westbrook, by the
Thank
way.
you.
So
Then I get 1.5 points.
why would that be 1 point? You also get the other half of that point. Yes.
Ha.
Yeah.
All right, let's see it, Felix.
Well, does Chris does he get that? He gets another question?
No.
No,
I got
Felix
I got
knows
my.
it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Everyone gets the same opportunity to go first here. Once sorry. Once the AFL officially merged with the NFL, the common draft simply became the NFL draft. Who was the first QB to be drafted first overall?
Johnny Unitas.
No, Austin, do you know this?
Can you repeat the question?
Barnett is with the buzzer. Once the AFL officially merged with the NFL, the common draft simply became the NFL draft. Who was the first QB to be drafted first overall?
Terry Bradshaw.
That's correct.
Terry. I was going to say Terry Bradshaw. So Johnny. Okay.
Johnny Nice was like 50 by the time that draft happened. Isn't he?
All right, we're gonna head on over to is it Austin first this time?
It's me,
correct?
yeah.
All right, Austin, name the only year in the NFL draft that multiple teams made more than 2 selections in the first round, and name the teams.
I keep getting these double parters. I'm pretty sure it was the Vikings are one of the teams. I'm pretty sure. I don't know the year. That's going to be the problem. I'm going to have to pass. The Vikings is one piece of it. That's all I know.
All right, Chris, you need to repeat the question.
No, I understand.
Enough
the
with the
question.
buzzer. Enough with the buzzer.
You're gonna get.
That thing's going to be going off
tomorrow.
all night because we're going. I can tell we're going to get a lot of these wrong.
I also feel like it's the Vikings. Repeat the question real quick.
Name the only year in the NFL draft that multiple teams made more than 2 selections in the first round.
More than 2 selections. Okay. I don't know. 2018 Lion or Dolphins Vikings.
No, that's not right. Felix.
I have that 2009. I have no idea.
Okay, the answer is
So
2019. Oh yeah, Barnabas, you let them know.
Yeah,
You're the fact checker.
I'll go here. You guys are right that one of the 7 or 6, I forget which one, of occasions in which a team selected 3 times in the first round, the Vikings are one of them. However,
Okay.
they are not the year that there was multiple teams because in 2019, both the Giants and the Raiders selected 3 times in the first round.
2019.
Saquon.
Who did the research for these questions? It had to be Barnabas. These are Barnabas level questions.
Mike's not capable of that.
I think it was a half and half effort, honestly. I did write that question, but that one's a recent question, so I thought you guys might actually have that one. But
Nope.
Yeah, we
Chris?
need to stick to some more recent stuff. It's the first Chris Moxley's turn, so maybe not.
Oh gosh.
Chris, I gotta give you a hard one here just because you're ahead.
Wait,
The NFL
whoa! What happened to equal distribution
no
of
more
questions?
softballs.
I'm sorry. I don't want to get bad reviews.
How many of these that you've already asked have been hard questions? By the way,
We didn't rate them. We didn't go through
Most of
okay,
them.
because
5
all of
stars.
them.
Okay.
Okay,
The NFL held its first televised draft in 1980. Who was the NFL commissioner of the NFL at the time, and which television network broadcasted the event?
dude, I don't know.
Keep giving these 2-part questions, and that's bullshit.
I don't know.
It's actually not as hard as you think it is.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know who
wrote
the.
it now.
I don't know who the commissioner was. And I don't want to. If I don't know the question, I'm not going to guess the network because I know I think I know who the network is, but I
You
don't
can
want to
guess the network. We'll give you that half point. We'll guess the network.
No.
Oh, we also got a half point on my question.
Austin got a half question.
So also got a half point. I'm going to guess ABC is the network.
That is actually incorrect. Go ahead, Felix.
So to me, it has to be the most watched network, which was CBS at the time, and then I think that the commissioner, I'm assuming it was Paul Tagliabue, but Paul Tagliabue is relatively young, so 1980, it could have been the commissioner before him, but that's my final answer. Lock it in.
Close,
Austin.
but also incorrect on both counts.
Yeah, over to Austin.
We're down to a
This is
very
a
limited
stupid
number
game.
of networks
It
here.
is stupid.
I'm going to guess NBC, and I don't know any other commissioners beyond Tagliabue. So if it's older than that guy, then I have no clue.
As soon
The
as you said-
answer It's actually ESPN was the first televised NFL draft,
Fighting for my
and
life.
it was in an agreement that Pete Rozelle had negotiated on behalf of the NFL.
Oh, I actually do know one.
I do know. Yeah, I was gonna say I do know
Yeah.
Pete Rozelle.
I thought you guys did. I thought that wasn't as hard as it seemed, but okay.
All right, over to Felix. Is that right?
Pass. Pass.
Felix, which college has produced the most draft picks in NFL history?
I want to say Miami. Draft picks. I mean, at one point it was Miami. Well, Miami had its heyday. I'm gonna say Miami.
That's incorrect. Austin, can you give us the answer?
I'm between two schools, and I know I'm going to pick the wrong one. USC.
That's incorrect
Also
as well.
incorrect. Knox, what do you got?
I think it's Notre Dame.
That was my other answer.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Yes.
Yep.
Is Army too?
I didn't write it down. Honestly,
Oh, because that's what I was debating between Notre Dame and Army.
I didn't research that question. So.
Yeah, that was a me question. Singular answer. Really easy. Really easy. Let's go on to. Actually, let's get a score update, Barnabas.
Yeah. Thus far, we have had 5 correct answers. Austin is in second with 1.5 points, and Chris is in the lead with 3.5 points. Felix has yet to get a correct answer so far.
He's due. Look at that face. He's due.
Yeah, he's about to lock in. I can feel it.
All right. Who's up right now? I'm sorry, I lost
Me.
track. Austin,
Yeah.
which NFL team has moved cities the most? And then I'll give you a bonus point if you tell me which cities. I don't want to do all these 2-part questions.
Oh, man. I would guess the Cardinals.
That's incorrect. Chris.
And
Although a good guess, I will say.
Yeah, that is going.
I have two guesses here. I'm gonna go with the Colts.
That's incorrect as well.
Also incorrect. This is your time to shine, Felix.
Let's go, Felix.
I'm thinking it has to be the Raiders. The Raiders, they went from Oakland to LA to Las Vegas, but the Cardinals have moved 3 times too. So
it might be the
but I'm going to go with
my second guess was the
Raiders.
Browns.
Now you're questioning my research ability here. So I found the answer to be the Rams, who went from Cleveland to LA to St. Louis. Or sorry,
As did the
Baltimore.
trend.
Oh, I didn't know that they were in
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
I didn't know that they were in Cleveland.
Okay.
Rams was
Then
my
that-
other guess if
that
I
makes
wouldn't have guessed Cardinals.
3.
Great
'cause they
job
went-
with the questions, Mike. Great job.
Mike gonna have to give another apology on Back to Devy.
I know I am. Yeah, I'm gonna find another sad song record to put in the background and make it real emotional. All right, let's get who. That took way
Chris.
too long. Who's up
It's
now?
me.
Chris.
Yeah.
I can't give Chris. I want to get someone else like an easier question. What is?
How is this fair?
Because you're winning, and I feel bad for Felix.
Don't feel bad for Felix.
Who is the only Heisman winner in history to pursue a career in football and go undrafted?
I think I actually know this one.
To pursue a career in football and go undrafted.
To give further background, technically the other 2 never pursued a football career because one.
Yeah,
played
Charlie Ward is
basketball,
one. Charlie Ward played
Yeah.
basketball. I don't know.
and the
who-
other one, I
Probably went to the
can't
war or
remember
some
his
shit.
name. Yeah, he chose to
Yeah,
be a
he-
soldier instead. Yeah.
Probably died in Vietnam or some shit. Sorry.
Come on.
Man,
This is an
audio
easy one.
medium.
This is an
Audio
easy
medium.
one.
I don't think I have. I have no idea.
Felix, do you know?
Felix.
To go undrafted, I mean, I want to say it's Eric Crouch, but Eric Crouch was drafted by the Packers, I think. So I feel like I should get a point for remembering that if that's right. I don't know. I don't know.
Austin.
Jason White.
No,
It is
Jason
in
White
fact
was drafted.
Jason White, 2005.
Jason White went undrafted.
Yeah.
What?
Jason White went undrafted.
His knees
due
were
to
tissue
his
paper.
knees. Yep. Yep. Wow. Austin, do you remember what year that was? Bonus point.
LSU won the national championship that year. That
I was
was
gonna say, I would've
Nick
guessed
Saban
06.
was the head coach.
That's 2004 then.
It was 05, actually.
Yeah, that's the year I graduated.
Was it the
That's right,
04-05
Sa-
season though? Because I feel like
Saban,
then
Saban
It was the
won
05
national
draft.
championship.
So yeah, 04-05 season then probably.
Yeah.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
take
let's
that
go in.
bonus point. Thank you very much.
All right, Felix. Since 1975, only 2 G5 players were drafted 101. Who are these players?
Eric Fisher is one. The other is G5 players. Since when?
1975.
Since 1975.
You have
I will
all
say
these
it's recent.
questions.
It's recent picks.
I'm tricking you with
Okay,
the
well, I
numbers
know
here,
Eric
but I feel
Fisher
bad
is
now.
one. Eric Fisher is one.
Eric Fisher is one.
Can you give me the position of the other player?
Quarterback.
What?
We're moving this along.
one
We're
or
moving
one?
this along. It was a quarterback.
A quarterback from a G5 team went 101. Tim, who the fuck went 101?
All right, Austin, what do we
Stop.
got here? We're moving this along, folks.
Yeah, let's go, Austin. Time is up.
I think Austin might be frozen, so let's go to Chris. Oh,
No,
no,
he's not
Austin's
frozen. He's
not.
just thinking.
Oh,
This is
well,
my
he-
thinking face.
G5 quarterback drafted first overall fairly recently.
they're not even telling us in the chat.
Yeah, chat. Come
It's
on.
gonna be super obvious when you guys say it, but it's not coming to mind. I'll pass. Keep this
Mox?
thing moving.
Is it G5, or is it like non-Power 5?
I didn't write this question, but
It's
I think it's
G5.
Power 5. Is it?
It's
G5?
it's a team that is currently in the FBS.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say Steve McNair, but that
No.
that won't be it then.
The other one
Um,
was David Carr from
From
Fresno
Fresno.
State. That's right.
I forgot
Um,
he was 101.
That's right. That's right. So we'll give that point to Felix. You got one of them for sure, and it was there.
Nice sympathy point, Felix. Good work.
We'll go with a.
Will you really feel better if it's a half point?
No,
We will
I'm
go
happy
with
for
a-
Felix.
fantasy focused question for this fantasy podcast here?
I'm up, right?
Yes, you are,
I
Austin.
think so.
Since 2012, there have been 15 running backs drafted in the first round. Who were the 2 running backs to never have a top 24 fantasy finish?
No,
Can I s-
two.
No, I wrote the question wrong, Barnabas.
Oh.
Since
All right.
when? Since when?
2012.
2012.
2012.
I'm going to assume one of them's Javid Best. He was a first round running back, and I doubt he ever had the top 24 finish. The other one.
Great radio.
I was
This is
gonna
great
get
audio.
CH. I don't know. I think he had a top 24 season.
He did have a top 24 season. And David Best was drafted in 2010. So that's also incorrect.
Oh,
Chris, do you know these
Well,
two
now you're
players?
screwed, Chris.
do I know who these 2 players are? Probably not. So I'm gonna go with what who do I want to get? Trent Richardson as one.
Okay.
No, he had a top
he
12
had a-
season his first year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he busted after that. It's not Trent
whatever.
Richardson.
Sorry.
All
Man,
right,
at least I got
a
at least,
half point game. Yes.
yeah. Come on, everybody, relax. And then Reggie Bush.
Both of those are
Also,
incorrect.
2005 for
Yeah,
Reggie
listen.
Bush.
Yeah, what was I thinking with Reggie Bush? Okay, I forgot the. I forgot.
Since
Forgot the time
2012,
frame.
2012. Felix,
I
any
feel like
guesses?
Felix has this one.
No, I don't have this one, and I can't even remember when these players were drafted. I'm going to say that one of the
20
players is
2012.
that running back from Illinois who was drafted by the Steelers. I cannot remember his name.
First off, Mendenhall had like a top 5
Mendenhall?
finish at least 1 year. So
Mendenhall had a top 5 finish. I don't even have
pretty
a
close
guess.
to
so.
it. Yeah.
The answer is current Eagles running back Rashad Penny, and then David Wilson, who had bad knees. Was it bad
I
knees?
forgot.
Nah,
David
it was
Wilson.
his neck.
His neck. That's right. Yep. So medical. Anyway, those are the two. All right.
I didn't write that question.
We're doing great.
It was recent history, 2012. There's only 15 options to pick from there. Let's go on over to Chris. Chris, which NFL teams have made the most first overall picks?
How many teams are there?
It's 2.
It's 2. Yeah, we'll give you that. It's 2. I'll take one. I'll take one of the 2.
What do you mean you take one of the 2?
Just
You
You
saying
name
you'll
one of the
get
2,
right
and we'll
in.
give you the
Yeah.
entire point. Yeah.
yeah.
Do.
I feel like the Browns are too obvious, so I'm gonna go with the New England Patriots.
That's incorrect. Felix.
They're really, really bad for a long time.
They were. That's fair, but
Yeah.
I think it's the Browns or the Colts, to be honest. So
We will be taking that. Colts was one of the answers there, and the other one was the Rams, who kept moving cities for being so bad. But anyway,
Browns are too obvious. I knew it.
let's go on to Felix here. And again, I'll take a singular team, but which NFL teams have never selected in the first overall pick? Which NFL teams have never picked first overall? There's 3 options on this one.
I was gonna say, these teams have never selected first overall. The Steelers.
Took Terry Bradshaw.
Nope.
The Steelers went for okay. The
Whoa! He gets 3 guesses.
The Packers are one.
Packers
No.
have indeed selected first overall.
Oh God. Okay.
Am I mistaken? Bart Starr was first
Yeah.
overall? Yeah.
Austin, do
Go
you
ahead,
know
Austin.
one of
Any
these 3
guesses here?
teams?
I'm going to guess that the Dolphins have never picked first.
That's incorrect as well.
Jake Long.
Thought he was the second overall pick. He was top.
I'm pretty sure
No,
they
they
took
took-
101. Wasn't it?
I thought Jake Long was the first overall pick.
Maybe it was. I don't know.
That
What
was
are the
my
answers?
understanding.
Wait,
The answer-
whoa.
Yeah, we gotta go to Chris.
I thought Chris already guessed.
No,
No.
I didn't guess.
Oh.
The Baltimore Ravens.
That's
correct. The
They
other
didn't
2
get
teams,
101 their first year?
the other 2 teams were
That
the
was the year they
Seahawks and
picked,
the Broncos.
I would not have
picked
got the other
Lewis
2.
And the offensive
Ogden.
tackle.
They took Ogden.
Ogden, yeah. Those were the 2 they took their first year, which were both not first overall.
So I get a full point for that one, right? That's what
Yes,
we
you
That's
do.
decided.
correct.
Yes, you do. We're going over to Austin here for this one. I will be going a little bit more current history here. In 2021,
Ooh, okay. That might be
the
close.
Dolphins traded the 3rd overall pick for 3 first-round picks. The Dolphins then traded all 3 first-round picks. Oh my gosh, traded all 3 first-rounders in different trade packages. Who were these 3 players that they traded for?
We'll take any of the 3.
In
Any of the
2021?
Yeah, this.
You should know this one, Austin.
Should I?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, I think this is probably the easiest question so far I've asked.
No, I would say Philip Rivers is probably the easiest question, but we can.
No,
move on.
Philip Rivers was the easiest question.
What?
Austin
Tell me when I can select.
Austin, come
This
on.
is the Waddle draft, right?
Maybe are you telling me?
Yeah, Waddle. I'll say Waddle.
That's
Okay.
correct. That's one of the players.
Mox, do you
Can
have
I-
any of the other 2? You think?
Igboganini is one of them, right?
So is
No,
it players that they drafted or players they use the picks on?
The trade,
you-
yeah, the players they used the picks on.
those
So who they
picks,
traded for
both
with those
players.
picks?
Yeah, Tyreek Hill.
That's
That's
another
correct.
one. Yeah.
Do you know the last one? Felix? Last one? This one I don't think you're gonna get. It's for Bradley Chubb. I know
Bradley
we don't
Chubb.
do defense because
I
we're a
forgot they
fantasy
traded
company. But yeah, that's right. Jalen Waddle.
I
Tyreek
think
Hill,
we
and
don't
Bradley
do
Chubb are
correct
three.
answers on this in this particular show.
We're
That's
struggling.
just not our thing. Doing
We're-
correct.
I'm
We're
doing.
gonna- we're gonna
I'm doing
ask-
fine in my opinion.
We're gonna ask one last question here, just one last one. We had a lot more written out, but I lost a little bit of faith. So we're gonna stick to one last question. The Bears dealt the first, the third, and the fourth round picks, as well as their third selection in 2018 to San Francisco to move up just one spot in the 2017 draft for the ability to draft this player.
That's the easiest question we asked this all
Yeah,
day.
it's the easiest question by far. Whose turn is it?
This is
It's
Felix.
Mox.
It's
Yours,
Felix.
Mox is you.
Oh, it's
Oh,
No,
Felix.
it's Mox.
It's not
I think
my
it's
turn.
Felix.
It's not my
it's
turn.
Mox.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky.
That's correct. That's right. Mr. Trubisky was picked over Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson that year.
Yes, he was.
Barnabas, do you want to give them the final score?
Here, just because we started with Austin, we should end with Felix, and I think you'll get this one. We'll give you a softball, Felix, to end this out. But
Boost my confidence. Yeah.
can you name the trade that involved the most draft picks in NFL history?
Yeah, it was a Ricky Williams trade. It traded all of the picks.
Well, maybe not as soft as I made it out to be, because that's actually incorrect. Austin, do you have any thoughts?
Herschel Walker.
Single trade. Herschel Walker was indeed with
correct.
12 draft picks involved in that. So final scores here to make equity. Everyone had this equal number of opportunities to answer the question first. In third place, we had Felix with 2 questions correct. Austin, we had with 4.5 questions correct, and Chris Moxley wins with 5.5 questions correct.
Oh, man, if we'd had another round, I would
Hey, you wouldn't have.
feel it.
I was wiping the floor all day, all night with y'all.
It's because you have your lucky hat on.
I don't even know if I have confidence enough to continue with the show. I mean, we do have other stuff on the show sheet.
We hit some softball buy sells, Felix. Is that what you need?
My confidence is shot. I need to eat some food and recover.
Here, how about this?
we-
I will state as fun facts the remaining questions we had. How about that, real quick? So the last questions we had were how many times has Mr. Irrelevant been traded? And those picks were Ryan Hogue, Gustavus Adolphus, wide receiver, Kalen Reed, Southern Miss cornerback, and Trey Quinn, SMU wide receiver. Those were the 3 picks that were taken after the pick that was Mr. Irrelevant was traded. And 2012 is the most recent NFL draft where the first 5 picks are all out of the league already, because that year was Andrew Luck, RG3, Trent Richardson, Matt Khalil, and Justin Blackmon. Also in the top 10,
That's
longer
a
in the
good
league.
draft. That's a good draft. They're just
Morris
different
Claiborne
reading.
and Mark Barron were both in the top 10 as well there and are no longer in the league. And then we had a question for who were the 2 Hall of Fame receivers that were drafted after Keyjana Carter that are now in the Hall of Fame. And those are Curtis Martin and TD Terrell Davis. And then finally,
Terrell Owens.
Terrell Davis.
You said wide
running
receiver.
backs?
Yeah, you said wide receiver, but I got what you were saying.
Oh,
Sorry, I
okay,
meant
gotcha.
running
Okay.
backs.
Okay.
And then finally, there was like a longer part question where since 1970, there have been 7 players that were drafted first overall that won Super Bowl MVP. And the question was asking which of those players were not named Manning. And so
Matthew Stafford.
Super Bowl MVP.
Was he not a Super Bowl? Did he not win the Super Bowl MVP?
I thought it was Cooper Kupp.
Did
Yeah,
Cup
that
win
year.
Super Bowl MVP?
He
That's
did.
correct.
He did.
Yeah.
Okay, so 6.5. Keep going.
Austin should have should know one of these.
Dan Marino.
Terry.
Terry.
Terry was one of
the
them.
answer like 4 of the questions tonight. What a
Jim
guy.
Plunkett, Troy Aikman, Steve Young, and John Elway were the 5 not Mannings that won. Was the first overall pick and won Super Bowl MVP.
Can't wait for Arch to do it.
Oh, God.
Next time, y'all got to bring some tougher questions.
Right.
We'll limit it to just last 10 years. That's clearly what we got to do.
I'm kicking you out.
All right.
Mike.
I'm not
get out of
complaining.
here.
I won.
Get out of here, Mike.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Barnabas, get out of here. We just lost all credibility during
We? What do you mean? Who you talking about?
that 30 we did not do great collectively as a team. What are you holding up? Money?
Just my stack of hundreds. My wad of hundreds.
All right. Do we even go on with the show? I'm shot. My confidence is shot.
I'm doing great.
You know whose confidence should be shot is Jalen Milroe and Ty Simpson, both of whom did not perform well in the spring game on Saturday. I feel like we've kind of covered this in campus life and in chasing the natty, but we haven't talked about it here on Devy Debate. Obviously, Alabama is looking to the transfer portal. They tried to get Tyler Van Dyke in. Word is that they are in for Tyler Buckner. Austin, do you think it is over for Alabama being, a dominant powerhouse in college football?
I'm going to say no, because I just think the rest of the roster is still so good that I don't know that it really matters. If you think about the best quarterbacks in college football next year, I don't know that any of them are on real national championship contenders. Some people might say USC. I'm not sure that that's a legit thing. So I don't know that any of the best teams have a great quarterback right now. So I think that no, their reign is not over. I actually think they probably win 11 games this year. I think they'll be fine. Regardless of who's a quarterback. Like, you can't tell me even if they put Jalen Milroe at quarterback, he's not just going to rush for like 1,400 yards and that's just what they're going to do this year. I really think that could be what they do. I mean, he had that one run this past weekend. It was just, no one wants to get in front of that.
Mox?
He's a freight train.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely. No, I won't say Alabama's over. Aren't they bringing in, isn't Bryce Underwood their top target in 2 years, and they have Julian Sayin as well? I feel like we have a lot of I feel like they have a lot coming in. I'm
not a Sayin believer, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah, theoretically, they have multiple 5-stars that are probably going to commit to the program. It's just a down year for quarterback, though. Ohio State, Kyle McCord and Devin Brown are not C.J. Stroud or Justin Fields. Michigan has J.J. McCarthy. Georgia has Carson Beck. None of the powerhouses we talked about. So I think it's just going to be down year for Alabama, period. I think they can lose to LSU again. I think LSU might beat them. I would call it a down year. And if I felt that Nick Saban was not going to come back in 2024, then I would call it over. But I'm not quite sure he wants to leave on a 9-3 season.
We are very used to Alabama being a sexy team as far as how they're placed out with Bryce Young and Tua Tagovailoa and Mac Jones kind of throwing the ball all over the place. But early in the 2000s, that is not what it was, or the mid-2000s. They were a team that won in the trenches and won running the football. I mean, Mark Ingram was a Heisman Trophy winner when Derrick Henry was there. That might be what we return to. Where
we're going to get Blake Sims era back.
Blake Sims, AJ McCarron, where we get them running the ball again. And, they've got Roydell Williams. They have a stable of backs where they can play that way. It might be boring to watch them. They do have Malik Benson. Jermaine Burton is terrible. But we're so kind of spoiled by them having explosive playmakers on the outside, especially with Jamison Williams there 2 years ago.
Is their defense good enough, you think? I don't think it's as good as it's been in years past. It is my biggest concern. I like Dallas Turner, but they're losing at least 2 first-rounders this year in Branch and Will Anderson. I don't think they're going to replace them.
I think Caleb Downs is already better than Branch.
Caleb Downs is so freaking good. His spring game was immaculate.
They're not going to miss the safeties at all. Caleb Downs could go first round after his freshman year. Saban always talks about how he doesn't ever want to start true freshmen, and he definitely doesn't want to start them at safety. I think Fitzpatrick's the only other one that's done it, and I think Downs is that level of player, maybe even better. Yeah,
he looks spectacular in the spring game, so maybe that's true. Maybe the defense isn't going to take a step back, and they're just going to rely on Jalen Milroe to run for 150 yards a game.
So an Alabama team that's carried by running the ball and defense. I mean, I can't wait.
Jason McClellan looked good on Saturday too. I thought they barely put him in there, but he had 7 carries for 60 yards. He looked explosive.
I thought all the backs did.
I agree. Justice Haynes looked good too, and I think that we continue to make arguments for him to be the number one overall back in his class. We should note that when the running back gets like one carry and then is out in a spring game, that is usually a nod to like that we want to keep that particular player healthy. They did the same thing with Jarquez Hunter in the Auburn game. They gave him one ceremonial carry to start the game, and then he didn't play the rest of the game. So that's actually a good thing. All right. I think I'm going to save the buy and sell for next week. I think we're going to call it quits here tonight. Make sure you support campus2can.com. The Devy guide will be available on May 1st. It's already spring. We will be live. Some version of us will be live for the NFL draft on the YouTube page, Campus 2 Canton's YouTube page. Check that out. Some other of us will be live on the Better Sports Network. So support us wherever you are. Make sure you drop a like. And if you are not subscribed to the Campus 2 Canton YouTube page, you need to be. All right. That's going to be our show for tonight. Apologies, Curb Street. We ran out of time. We'll get them rescheduled soon. For Chris Moxley and Austin Nace, and of course, Mike and Barnabas, good night and good luck.